Hello and welcome to the Honey Badger. I am Dr. Nafertisit Fox de Fantino. You could just call me Naf. I am a doctor of metaphysical humanistic sciences and a certified spiritual counselor and also a psychic medium. And on this channel, we're going to talk about all things spiritual. And today, I have a story for you that goes back into my childhood around the time that my psychic medium abilities really started to pick up. And I want to bring this story to you because there may be some of you out there who had similar experiences to me, as far as not really having anybody in your environment that could explain any of this stuff to you. So I didn't have that growing up. I always felt like a weirdo. I always felt like maybe I'm schizophrenic, because no one could tell me what I was experiencing. I've also shared experiences with my sister who seems to have blocked these memories out, unfortunately, because I've brought them up before, and she tells me that they didn't happen. And I am actually going to tell that story in another video later on. So, this story starts when I was between the ages of 8 and 10 years old. I don't know specifically how old I was at this time, I just know it was somewhere around there because of the bedroom that I was in at the time. We had a kind of small house, not too terribly small, but there were 3 bedrooms that were attached to one another. And by attached, what I mean is, you have the main bedroom, and then there's a door to another room, and then there's a door to another room. So there was no direct way into that very back bedroom, which is where I was. The only other way to get there was through the kitchen and out the back door, because there was a door that went into that bedroom. So it was late at night. It's 12:30. I have insomnia. I don't sleep very well, even particularly as a kid, because when the world is quiet, energy is much louder. And when I say energy, it's a buzzing feeling. That's what I mean by loud. Like my body was physically buzzing. Like when you've done a workout or something and your body's just vibrating. That's what it feels like. So that's what my life was like at night. So I didn't sleep very well. And this was one of those nights. Now, again, my bedroom was in the very back of the house. And as I'm laying there, I get this vision that just takes over. And I can no longer see my bedroom, but my eyes were open. And I was seeing from the perspective of the dining room, looking into the living room towards the front door. And I see this old man sitting there. And I can't remember if he was sitting on the couch or one of the chairs that we had, but he was sitting down. It's dark, as it was in the house, because all the lights were off. Everyone was asleep except myself. And I was just frozen in terror because I didn't know what I was seeing. And I see him get up. And I see him start to walk towards the back of the house. So he walks into the dining room. He turns to go into the hallway and directly into my parents' bedroom. And it was at that point where he entered that room where I could physically feel him moving around the house. Now, when I say physically moving around, the only way I can explain it is if you were walking through water. Like that feeling. That's what I was feeling. I was feeling his movement like that. It was thick. It wasn't like air. It was thick. And I could feel him moving ever so slowly. Like an old man would, I guess. And he goes around my parents' bed. He enters my sister's room. And then he starts to turn and goes into my room. Now, by this point, I'm under the blankets and I'm facing the wall because I'm terrified of what's going on. But he's just standing there staring at me. He doesn't come over to the bed. He's just right at the doorway and looking at me. And it took a lot of courage for me to actually turn around and see what was there. And there was nothing. And this terrified me so much, I just went to sleep. I went to bed. It was too much for me. Now, in this house, it was haunted. It was haunted by this old man. He's a grumpy old man. I know this now as an adult, that he was just grumpy. He didn't really like us being there. He didn't like our family because we argued a lot. On a daily occurrence. It was a lot of arguing. There was a lot of shouting. And he didn't like that. And he didn't like loud noises in general either because it could have been a lot of laughter and he would be pissed off about it too. But I remember he was wearing jeans, he had a belt on, and his shirt was tucked in. It was a button-up t-shirt, and it was blue, I think it was of a checkered type pattern, like a plaid maybe. I'm not sure. It could have been a solid color. I don't remember, but I keep seeing a plaid print. But I never saw his face. I don't see spirits' faces for some reason. I only see their bodies. Like from here down is typically what I'm able to see. I don't know if I'm blocking out their faces, and I just don't want to see who it is. I have no idea. I haven't figured that part out yet. But it was terrifying. And of course, no one in my family knows anything about this. They don't understand it or they don't believe in it, even though they've had their own experiences with spirits. So I don't know. And I've just lived my entire life with these different experiences that were terrifying. No one could explain it to me. It wasn't until I actually moved down out of state to where I am now that I met people. They were pagans. I met pagan people who knew all about the spirit realm, spirit world, how to honor them, and all these different things. And so I started learning from them. I was probably about 22, 23 years old when I met them. I'm 37 years old now. And probably towards my late 20s or so is when I kept hearing about mediumship. I didn't know anything about mediumship until around that time. And remembering the experiences that I've had with spirits was just traumatizing. I really didn't want to get into it, but I was still curious about it. The thing is that I can't shut this off. It's always there. Sometimes it's a little bit quieter than other times. Like when I was younger, it was very loud. It was very prominent. Certain experience that I had, even more terrified than the old man, really caused me to try to shut that down because I didn't want to know any more about it. But, you know, now at the age of 37, going on 38 at the time of this video, I'm really starting to accept the fact that I am just a psychic medium. I get information from spirits. I can hear them, not necessarily physically, but I get messages from them. And so now I'm really trying to get into really listening, understanding all of the signs and synchronicities that they send or just communication from them. And it's just a way that they can communicate in the physical realm, especially since I can't really physically hear spirits speaking like some people. So, you know, I'm really starting to get into this. And I really want to bring this up, bring up these stories and just put them out there for those who have had similar experiences or, you know, are with a family that just doesn't understand, who can't really give them answers, and friends around them can't do it either. And maybe you can't even find a good source, but I hope that these videos are. Like I said, I understand now that the old man was just a grumpy old man. He didn't really like all of the loud noises and all of the arguing and things of that nature, but I feel he knew that I had this type of ability because when you are a medium of some type, you just glow different. You have a different aura than everybody else. You stand out to them. You're very bright. And I kind of feel in a sense that maybe he knew that I wasn't asleep and he wanted me to go to bed, and he probably scared me into doing it and was successful. So, you know, it's not always malicious. In fact, even though they felt terrifying and the energy was just really weird, I don't think I've ever dealt with a malicious entity before. They've all felt very curious in some way, or just try to tell me something, trying to let me know that they're around. And you know, the further I go into life, the more I actually learn about different things from the past that actually meant something, which is a beautiful thing. And hopefully that, you know, in exploring your own abilities, whatever they are, that you get to, you know, gain some answers to things from the past that maybe didn't make sense at the time. And now that they do, you can move forward with that knowledge and either let it go or utilize that wisdom towards your future and everything that's coming in a good way, obviously. But anyway, so if these types of stories actually interest you, if you're looking for, you know, a community of people that are very much like yourself, subscribe, hit the bell icon. These videos are not going to be on a schedule, so it's just whenever they come up. It's all intuitive when I feel like putting them out there. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. If you feel like putting a story of your own experience down in the comments section, I would absolutely love to read it. Love you guys. Be kind to each other and be kind to yourself. Take care.